So hi guys, so today we are going to create this simple card. This is a food card using HTML and CSS. This is a very simple one. So if you would like to test it out, try it out and then come see the solution. So the very first thing, as always, we do have an empty style.css file and also a blank HTML template. So the very first thing we always do is to link the CSS. So we say link CSS. Make sure the href points to a file that is your CSS file. So as you can see, I do have style.css and an index.html file. So first of all, let's add the default CSS styles, which is you grab every element and then remove all the margins on any element. Remove all the paddings and specify the box sizing to be border box. All right, so we are done with that step. The next step, let's start creating this card. So just going to create a card. Inside this card, I'm going to create an image wrapper that will just wrap this image. We're not going to use it too much, but it's always better to wrap an image in an image wrapper, so that the image wrapper, you can give it some height, so that in case you have like many cards, they can all be the same height. So let's create an image wrapper. Inside the image wrapper, let's create the image. So if you need this exact image, as always, as I say, head over to my GitHub repository. So it's github.com/techwithtwin/tiktok-projects. And then look for the project called food card v4. And then here you'll find this thumbnail image. This is the image I'm using. You can see it. So go ahead and copy that image or look for one that would be fine as well. So I'm just going to drop that image there. So to reference the image, we write a dot and a /. This specifies that we want the image in the current folder we are in, and then thumbnail.jpg. After the image wrapper, let's create a heading level. Let me use a heading level 4. So, and in this heading level 4, we invented, let me just copy this. So we invented vegan meals and then a paragraph. So as I said, this is very simple. Doesn't have a lot of things. Just paste the paragraph, save. Finally, let's add a button. So you can say button and then say book your table. And that's it for the HTML. It's just quite simple. So let's go live and see what we do have in the browser. So the very first thing you'll realize is that we have a very huge image. So we are going to the HTML and wrapping this image and giving it a width of 250 pixels. And then you can see the card is okay right now. The very next thing is that we want this card to be in the middle of the page. So we just grab the body, then display flex, justify content to the center. Yeah, just like that. And then to make sure that everything is offset from the body, you can add a padding of 2 rem. All right, something else to note is that I'm using a font called Open Sans. So head over to fonts.google.com and then let's look for Open Sans. So just search here, Open Sans. We can use even a new font. Let's use Montserrat. Montserrat. So this one is the Montserrat I'm looking for. Then something you need to do here is to click get embed code. You can add any font you want. And then since I have Open Sans already highlighted, I can just delete it. And then I'm left with one font. Go to get embed code and then go to the import and then copy this import to your CSS file. So you don't want to copy the style. This would be okay if you're using this in the head section of your HTML, but now we are using it in the separate CSS file. So you just need to copy that and then paste that in. After that, let's go and here down, and then let's copy the font family. So come to the body and copy that font family. And then that's it for that section. So next up is to make sure that the items inside the card are aligned to the center. So we can grab the card and then we can give it, let's fix its width to something like 300 pixels. You can see now the width is okay. And then let's fix everything in the center. So we can use flexbox. So we can say display flex, and then we can say flex direction column, and then align items to the center. You can see now everything is aligned to the center, but still the text is not aligned. So we need to add something called text align center. And also let's do a gap of 0.5 rem. Okay, that looks a bit nice. So the next thing is I want to focus on this paragraph. I want to reduce its width, its font size. So I can just say font size 0.85 rem. Okay. And then let's make sure it's a bit grayed out. So you can use a color of 333. Okay, I think it looks nice. The next thing is now, okay, we don't need to add paddings, but yeah, I think you can test out and see how it will look like with the paddings. The very common way to do this is to add a content div. Inside the content is where we have now the content, so that the content you can add a border, you can add some paddings to it. So let me show you. I'm going to grab the dot content and then display flex as well. Justify content no, I think I need the flex direction column, then a gap of 0.4 m. And then now here I can add some padding like maybe 0.5 m. So this one won't be easily visible unless we add some border on the card. So you can say border 1 pixel solid gray. You can see what I was talking about. So the image is what is taking up the whole width. But now when we added some paddings, you can see now there's a padding here on the bottom. But in our case, we don't care about the borders. So let's now grab the button. So you can say button, and then this button should align itself to the center. Just like that. And then a padding, let's add some paddings to it. So you can say padding 7 pixels, 12 pixels. So this one is padding vertical. This one is padding horizontal. Then let's add a color of green. So you can say background color green. Then what we can notice is that now we have some ugly borders. So we remove the borders. Say border none. Alright, the next thing you might realize is that the text is not visible. So we add a color white. This is how you should learn CSS, is that you learn by what you are seeing, not what you think should be added. Right, so yeah, that's it guys. That's how you can create such a card. Thank you for watching, and if you have finished this, then make sure you like, follow, and share with your friends. Thank you.